Well, hello, my beautiful gems. This is Maria from the Guided Gem. Listen, my beautiful gems, I've been guided to just kind of have a conversation about dating. You know, it's quite interesting how the dating industry has become very, very valueless. And I say that confidently because I personally have a lot of friends who have been in this dating scene, and it's just one disappointment after the next. So I thought I would come here and just really have a talk with you guys and to try and see where is it that you find yourself in a situation when it comes to dating. Okay. I did need an energy to kind of go through this because I have um, so many different areas that came through, and the guidance that I received is resilience. Now, it's funny because resilience comes in to say that you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to dating. And, you know, what does everybody want? Let's just start there. What does everybody want? Well, everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to feel affection. Everyone wants to know that someone's there. Everybody wants to feel uh, you know, that they're being paid attention to, that, you can receive a message, the feeling of receiving a message. Isn't that just amazing? Like, oh my God, they're thinking of me. How amazing is that? So everybody wants that love. And yet, you are constantly trying to date and you're going through all kinds of dating apps and you are meeting people constantly. And then, you feel kind of safe thinking like, oh, we've been, talking for quite some time and I feel like I know the person. So I feel like there's a connection here. Wow, connection. Connection is just a huge mouthful, right? Guys, between you and I, history, life in general, a connection takes years. So you could meet someone and feel like you've known them for a long time, but do you really know them? No, you don't know the person. That takes time. Yet, what do? As human beings, because we are craving that affection and we are craving that touchy-feely kind of sensation, we let go of our boundaries. We ignore the red flags. We just fall in. We know that, there's a huge risk, but you're letting go of that risk because you want to have that touch, that sensation, that sensual feeling, that attraction, that, connection with another human being. Well, here is the issues. The issues is that it's fake. 9 times out of 10, it's just lust and a lot of heartbreak along the way, disappointment, frustration, giving up, throwing in the towel. I'm not doing this anymore. Okay, so if this resonates for you, then I hope you stick around. And if you do enjoy this, please do subscribe to my channel. I know that it's all about, guided messages, but this one is a little bit different, but it is also guided. So I hope it's going to help you in some way. Now, let's get to the bottom of this whole topic here, the dating topic. The one thing that I need to ask all of you is, what do you want? A lot of people think that they know what they want, and yet when they meet a person where there is some sort of attraction or connection, like they say, they just drop all their boundaries. They do not, check all of the boxes. How can you know if the person is checking all of your boxes with a few conversations through text or even, phone conversations? Some people do like video conversations. Oh no, but I know. Well, you drop all your boundaries. And the question is why? Why are you dropping your boundaries? Well, again, you want that affection. So then you get disappointed. So you drop the boundaries, you get the affection, and guess what? You get ghosted, or the new one is you get zombied. I loved that one, right? It's like you're like they're gone for a little while and then they come up from the grave and like, oh, hey, how's it going, right? So there's a whole bunch of different things, and people get really, especially women, they get so disappointed and hurt when they allow themselves to be vulnerable, they will cross the line. And what I mean by that is like you're crossing the line into the next um, intimacy level. Okay, so you cross the line and then you get zombied or you get ghosted, and then you're so mad at yourself because you thought that if you would not have been that vulnerable, then you would have better chances, or that you would have had more time, like just having great banter with this person. But I think that is not even the case. I think what you need to go back and reflect on is to ask yourself, was this really a person that I thought was going to be the one? If you're going to say to me that you've been having, great banter for the past couple of months, even 6 months, do you really know a person after 6 months? I think you got to remember something, like even if you know what you want and even if your feelings are truly genuine and connected with the other person, how do you even know what the other person is actually truly feeling towards you? You've had conversations, great. Are you guys living together? Do you guys, are you guys on the same page? Are you guys really have the same goals? Have you guys, discussed about, blended families? Because a lot of yous are have had previous relationships. So what about blended families? What about careers? What about retirement? What about all of these things? Oh, that comes with time. Really? Wow. My beautiful gems, I need to say to you that you guys need to understand you want the real thing, but you guys are not taking the time that it takes to get to know the real person. So you put yourself in a vulnerable position, and there's no one else to blame but yourself. And I'm not saying beat yourself up. No, that's not the whole point of this conversation. The whole point of this dating conversation that I wanted to bring across here today is to kind of help you to figure out what it is that you truly want, to help you set up those boundaries that you actually need in order for you to truly find the one. Okay? So let's go over some items of the things that you think you want. Well, let's talk about the top maybe 3 or 4 items that you think is really, really important and necessary, right? And if this resonates for you, like write that comment and say, oh my God, that's me. Um, how many of you here, when you give a person your time, they have to have certain criteria, okay? The first one is he's got to be tall, right? And obviously I'm just putting into one scenario, but you guys can flip it. So, the men could be saying if they're looking for a woman, they could be saying, well, she's got to look like this. She can be heavy set. She's got to be slim and petite. And the women, if they're looking for a man, they go, well, you know what? I don't want someone who is 5'5". Sorry, guys, but a lot of women do say that, and I'm just repeating, and I'm not saying anything in particular, but that's one of the criteria. So they won't give a person that unless they are like 6 feet tall, the time of day, right? Now, if that is one of your criteria, and I completely understand that, but then what are your chances of finding Mr. Wonderful, right? You're really cutting those opportunities like more than half, right? Because not everybody is 6 foot tall. Okay. The other one is their status. Now, I love this one because, how many of you have met someone who's genuinely authentic in your life, but their status was not really, you know, president? Okay, you know what I mean. So the status of a person is become extremely important in the search of finding a lifetime partner. Now, I get it because you guys probably are, at a certain status yourselves. You're working really hard and you are really, putting in all your efforts, and you don't want to feel like you're going backwards. So now, again, my beautiful gems, I'm going to ask you, what are you looking for? What are your criteria? So what are your boundaries? Now, when I talk about boundaries, everybody mistakes those boundaries with, you know, the physical or the superficial. When I talk about boundaries, I'm talking about the values, the core values of what you will and will not accept in a relationship. Okay. So before I get off track here, let's go back to the other criteria. So the status is really important unless they are, CEO, a lawyer, doctor, XYZ, unless they are making this amount of money, then I am not going to give them the time of day. Can you imagine? He's just, a garbage collector because that's where his path took him. Well, can you imagine living in an area where there is no collection of garbage? Well, that would be pretty awful. So I am truly grateful for the person who's collecting garbage. Does that mean that I have to date a person who is collecting garbage? No. I'm talking about you guys misinterpreting what you want in a person. Okay? So we have status, we have uh, so their physical criteria, they're 6 foot tall. You know what? I don't date white men or etc. You know your situation. Okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to talk about is like, they need to present themselves a certain way in order for me to give them the time of day. What does that mean? That means, I've noticed a lot of people who will go above and beyond their physical appearance. Now, this is great and I think it's beautiful. I love, beauty. This is excellent. However, I have noticed that a lot of men, for example, they will date the women who go above and beyond that look very like a piece of jewel. Okay? They look like a piece of jewel and they will attract a lot of maybe very important people that have, very high statuses, for example, that make a lot of money. Now, you have to understand that that person, is probably, and I'm not judging anyone here, um, probably never worked a day in her life, and probably some of them can't even afford, the way that they look or how much they invest in themselves. Yet this only tells me, and I'm trying to paint this scenario here. This only tells me, or should tell you, that sure, I want to be taken care of for the rest of my life. I don't want to have a partner who has, a very serious conversation with me, and that is okay if that is what you want. So, again, I'm going to bring you back to the status. If you want that person who is looking for a person who's going to be their trophy or their, make them look good, in their arms, I'm asking you, what is it that you want? And you're saying like, no, Maria, I don't want that. I really want to have a connection. Okay, so the picture I just painted for you has a person who has a very high status, and they're not interested in having a conversation with a person who also has a very high status, right? Because then there is a fear that they're going to clash, there's going to be a power struggle, and so on. So they go for the person who, just wants to look good, and they will have this trophy on their arm. So I'm not judging any scenario. I'm just asking you, my beautiful gems, what is it that you want? So forget, I'm trying to make you think of like forgetting, you know, the physicals that you're looking for. I'm trying to make you forget about the statuses and just get to know the person and see if that is a match for you. So forget about, I mean, if they have a great job and they have a great status, bonus, right? If they are 6 foot tall, bonus. But if they're 5'9", for example, and you know what, they have a good job with a good retirement, but your connection is just amazing. You guys have the same dreams, you have the same goals, you have the same retirement plan, you guys have, you know, are amazing when it comes to blending families. Well, are you going to let that go because they're not 6 foot tall? Because they're not the CEO of a company? My gems, I know you will not do that. But do you give them a chance? That is your question. That is your question. Now, I'm going to go to the side of men looking for a woman just for a minute. A lot of women are very, very successful today, and a lot of women know what they want. And I hear all the time that it actually intimidates men. Okay. So if a man is intimidated by your success, my beautiful women, gems, then I am going to ask you again, is this the type of person that you want in your life? You're probably looking at the person's status, how successful they are, how beautiful they are, how, like, they're the perfect height, they're this, they're that. This is the kind of person I want to be with. But you are successful as well, and they are intimidated by you, which means that you will always, always um, be stuck in this relationship. They will always feel inferior to you. So, do you want a man who is intimidated by your success? Are you going to lower your success for a person because he's perfect? Well, I know your answer is no, but I just want you to be mindful of all of this right now. Okay? So that is something that you need to talk about. And I'm just going to go high level today to see if this is like any of this conversation is something that would interest you. And if it does, then I'm happy to go a little bit deeper. You know, all of my friends are constantly saying to me, Maria, you should be dating. Maria, you should be. Well, to be very honest with you, I don't go on any of these dating apps because I don't have the energy or the patience to have like on it like just this banter just to find out that they're going to be just looking for one thing, or it's just high level, or they meet you, they think they have a connection, and I don't want to play this. If I will ever meet a person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, well, it has to come naturally. And I look at people from within. I don't look at their status, or I don't look at their looks. Sure, it's all bonuses if they're beautiful and if they're tall and if they're CEOs, or if they're business owners, and on and on and on. I need the real thing. So if it happens, it happens. I'm not searching for it. And what do they say? You know, when you're not looking is when it falls into your lap, right? Okay. A lot of times we have like misunderstandings. What do I mean by misunderstandings? Well, communication is a big factor. It's just a huge mouthful. Communication has become, very, very non-existing non-existent at all. People think that they'll send messages back and forth, and they will assume that this is what you meant, and then you need to clarify it, and so on. Well, I thought you meant this. No one even gets to that point. Well, I thought you meant this. So people just ghost. Okay? Now, if a person is not going to communicate and clarify and ask a question, does something happen here, right? If someone is not going to take that effort to make sure that they are not misunderstood, isn't that one of the red flags that you should worry about? Okay, so don't waste your time. And I'm only doing this because a lot of people are going through a lot of pain that is completely unnecessary. Okay, I want you guys to be in charge and in control of what is going on in your life when it comes to relationships. I want you to make decisions because you decided to go out and meet this person. And if you decided to take it to the next level, then that is fine. You made that choice. Do not say, well, oh, I did that and now all of a sudden they ghosted me. Well, listen, they ghosted you. Well, they're not worthy of your time anymore. Don't feel bad. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have crossed the line. Maybe I should have waited a little bit longer. I don't want you to have doubt. I want you to be certain of your choices. You are in charge. And when you do meet the right person, you will know if the person is going to put in the effort, put in the time, ask for clarification, have that communication, will constantly chase after you because you are worthy, right? Then that is what you're looking for essentially. Okay. But people think that 1 or 2 months is enough. Believe me, there is a pool of fish out there. Okay. If you are not going to give in the time, there will be someone else. Okay? That is what's happening today, and it really, really upsets me because people have no more values. People are just, hopping around left, right, center, next, next, next. Oh, you know what? This is too much headache. I'm moving on, right? And they ghost, they don't care about feelings anymore. There's no more values. No one is investing. There's always going to be someone else. Okay? So the reason why I'm mentioning this, my beautiful gems, is because I'm going to ask you, what is it that you're going to do? If this is something that you don't want anymore, what are you going to do so that we're going to break this chain? If a person, if you as an individual and me and let's say my friends, we are all going to stop this. Eventually, there's going to be less and less options out there. People will not be able to go next anymore. So let's try and start like a wave. I know that this is minuscule and it's not going to happen, but I've been doing it and I want to put it out there and I want you to be mindful that, you know what, you're just a next. You're always going to be a next until you decide that you don't want to be a next. No one's going to have their way with you unless they come in correct, unless they're going to put the effort, unless they're going to change, like um, chase you. Okay? So that is really important. Let them fight for you. Let them truly, truly fight for you because you are worth it. Okay? But just remember, even if they're fighting for you, because here's the other caveat there's another issue. Married people. And I find that the married people are even more persistent. I'm going to ask my beautiful gems, no matter how tempting it is to be out there and to feel loved and to feel a connection with someone, I am begging you to to block the temptation of a married person coming into your energy. Believe me, they are very persistent. Believe me, they are playing with your emotions. Believe me, they are not your person. Okay? There are way, way too many infidelities out there. There are way too many. Now, I'm I know that this is not going to happen overnight, but I'm talking about core values. If a person is married, shame on you for chasing someone who is single and sensitive and beautiful and deserves true love. Shame on you, okay? Because you have someone at home. And shame on you if you are single and attracted and can't resist a married person. Okay? That is a no, no, no. Okay? If you agree with me, I want you to write a comment and say, Maria, I agree. Maria, you know what? I am not going to cross the line. They will know it, and I don't care how much they chase me. Okay? It happens to me. It happens to you. I'm sure it happens all the time. I will not ever cross the line with a married person. Okay? And they can chase me all they want, but it's never going to happen. But I want you, my beautiful gems, to not stoop to their level. Okay? So the more that we resist against a married person, I think the more that we will find a person of value. Okay? And you know what? Don't forget, my beautiful gems, people will judge you for your actions. So if you are weak enough I mean, not to resist to a married person's temptation, then that says a whole lot about you. So if you don't want someone to judge you or to put you in a category, oh, she's easy, for example, then don't do it. Okay? All right. This is a lot. It's high level, and I can go much, much deeper when it comes to relationships because there's a whole lot to talk about. If this is something that you want me to continue doing, by all means, I just saw 2442. Just please write me a comment, let me know, subscribe, and ask me a question. I am happy to answer your questions. And you know what? I will still continue to do the readings, the guided messages that will come through. I did the September ones. Go check those out. And I hope to see you guys soon. I would love to hear from you. Until the next time, my beautiful gems, like always, I'm sending you love and light. Until we meet again. Bye for now.